Hey viewers, Hexcraft here. Before we get started, a few things. First off, this is going to be a somewhat rambling video. This is also a happy birthday gift to my friend Coffee. She is a huge Soraka player and a huge fan of the character, so I decided to cover Soraka. And yeah, happy birthday Coffee. Hope you're having a wonderful day today. Lastly put, I want to say it's kind of funny that about a year ago, Soraka got her skin for Faerie Court, and I jokingly tweeted about how, oh, I should do a Soraka video, and I just kept pushing it back further and further and further until today. So yeah, almost a 1 year anniversary for that. Birthday for Coffee. So like I said, happy birthday Coffee. Hope you have a wonderful day, and without further ado, well, let's get into it. As always, basing it's a 5, and honestly, Soraka's skin has had a lot of changes over the years for her base. I think out of all the original champions that still have their old designs still in mind, Soraka hasn't really changed that much. I think she only had one, maybe two model updates slightly, and some ability effects changed. Of course, she had an entire kit change, but who hasn't at this point? A few champions, yes. But again, it's not that bad. The effects are beautiful. Again, the heal is always vibrant green, the star effects in the E of the constellations, the sparkling heals. It just feels right. And again, over time, her whole thing being changed over and over again lore-wise. Now she's, I believe, a celestial that takes a form of the Celestine race from Targon. But all in all, it's a decent base skin, and there really isn't any big complaints I could think of for it. This is a skin of the era of its time. This is, again, the early times when it was just let's recolor champions. Again, the effect's the same, the model is basically the same. The only difference is it has more druidic colors, greens and browns and such, and this somewhat steel looking staff she has, which I don't know why they chose steel really. Maybe they thought it'd be more of a silver look, but all in all it's okay. But it's kind of funny because, to those who don't know, League was based off of Dota, and original Dota was a mod for Warcraft 3, and I feel like this skin really gives off the fact that Soraka was based off of the Night Elf druids, and I kind of think that's a cool little detail. Unfortunately, again, it's a nice detail and not to its history, but all in all, I think this skin's gonna get a 5 still, because it's just a recoloring. This is another old skin, but in all honesty, I think the little details in here are actually a bit nicer. It is an improvement to the base, in my opinion. I like the dress look, and I do love the fact that it's a human now, because, again, the old story, it just was, let's make her human, but now it's the fact that she's celestial, and maybe she chose to be a human this time. All in all, this feels like a skin that could be referring to an older skin for her, even though, technically speaking, old Soraka looked like base Soraka, so it kind of gives that, oh, this should be an older look for her, but it wasn't. It's just how the skin is. All in all, though, I feel like the design for the human and the dress really do change her appearance well, but it still has her normal outfit and staff, and again, the abilities. All in all, though, I think it's slightly higher than base, so I'm going to give it a 6, but it's just teetering on the line. Now, this skin is definitely just an upgrade to base. Honestly, I do think the changes they do to the abilities color-wise is nice. And yeah, that's basically what it is. It turned all her abilities more so to the same bright yellowish look of her Q, and honestly, it looks really well done. It gives off the feel that this was kind of more of a cleric. And yeah, the outfit very much gives off that feel, the idea that she went from star power to cleric abilities. This feels like a D&D character almost, and funny enough, like I mentioned, the whole Warcraft origins in the past, this feels like a priest from Warcraft, but battle-readied. So yeah, all in all, it's a cool-ass look, and yeah, I gotta give it at least a 6. It's an improvement from base, and a really good direction. I feel like Reaper was the first step in Soraka's abilities becoming really good skins, because, dear God, the concept of taking the powerful healer into the dealer of death itself, yeah, that's a nice concept. The model really gives that off, too. She looks like she would be a specter of death. I love the cloaks and robes and bandages on her. Her staff now being more of an actual sight. But again, also, her abilities really sell this skin a lot. The Q with the impact and the markings, the heal having this ghostly flair to it. Yes, the E is just Karthus' circle, and I believe the ult has also aspects of Karthus' abilities in it too. But all in all, that is a good use of reusing assets. Riot will just reuse assets to say, fuck it, let's reuse assets, but in this case, yeah, Karthus is a dealer of death with his own Grim Reaper skin. So if you're going to make another Reaper skin, why not base it off the character that is the closest we had at the time? All in all, Reaper Soraka I think is one of her early great skins, so I gotta give it an 8. It's so weird realizing that this skin came out basically after Reaper. This was a cheaper skin, so of course the effect's the same, and the only real big things for it is the projectile is a banana, which I didn't record, and it is basically a goofy skin saying like, oh yeah, she throws bananas. All in all though, I feel like this skin is more so a good cheap skin. It's one that gives her a beautiful outfit, which, again, the dress is probably just similar to the same one, just recolored from Divine and such, but the outfit looks great on her. The design, the concept is great. And yeah, it's a play on the whole banana. All in all, I think this is a great goofy skin, and yeah, I'll give it a 7, just because I think the model and the reasoning sells it a lot more. And again, it's not a big price. If you've been on this channel before, you know that I dislike a lot of League's robot skins because they always use hexagons when it comes to their magic for some reason. Program differs. They use triangle and these patterns for wires. And normally it's kind of in the model department. And yes, when it comes to the model, it's just okay in my opinion. The whole 3D face is okay. And it's kind of funny that this came out before Echo in Overwatch, but this feels like a healer Echo. I like the staff, cool little tech staff, but the thing that really makes this a good skin in my opinion are the abilities. You get a flash of these little wire high-tech patterns in all of them, these symbols and lights, and the healings are these digital triangles. I don't know why triangles, but yeah. But all in all, it stands out from the other robot skins. I feel Program is one of the more interesting of all the robot skins Riot's made because they haven't overly used it like everyone else. Give them time though, they'll ruin it. All in all though, it's a decent skin. Effects are where it wins. I give it a 7. When it comes to Star Guardian Soraka, some of the abilities I feel are simple, more so being the Q, and of course, the heal. Because the heal, it's hard to do anything special for, especially in a skin that's inexpensive. But for Star Guardian Soraka, I feel like that works. They still have the patterns in the circle where the impact is. The heal causes this glow on the body afterwards, and these feathers around it. Again, as always, the E is the best, and it's something we've seen a few times in other Star Guardian skins. But her ult, this is one of the ones where she actually jumps up with wings. All in all, I think this is a really good skin. It's adorable, and yeah, it stands out as one of the early really good ones when the skin line started to just give us skins in bulk. So I give Star Guardian 8. Now, normally when it comes to pajama skins, it is either better or compared to the original. And Soraka, it is one of those scenarios of you either love it or you hate it. I think it's adorable. The cute little pajama onesie outfit really gives that kind of she is sleepiness to the fact that Soraka does just sway a lot when she's on the battlefield. Almost as if she's getting drowsy, and especially shows it off in this skin. And I think that's really cute. Again, the effect's not the same as Star Guardian, so it is very much more so, do you like the model or not? And in my opinion, it's a great model. It's not a 9, but I'd say it's higher up in the 8s than the actual Star Guardian skin, in my opinion. All in all, though, both are really great skins. Soraka really just got a fucking triple here, because dear god, Winter Wonderland Soraka has the details in the right places. It's just the limitations of the character, in my opinion. The model looks good. What we expect from a character gives off very much Elisa vibes. But the effects are just all great. The snowfall in the queue afterwards, the big snowflake impacts. The northern lights of the heal and the ice under the E cracking before it freezes. It feels almost like a Lysandra ability than a Soraka E, and I think that makes it work. The staff, of course, is what you expect. It's a snowflake. What else was it going to be? All in all, though, it's a really good winter skin for a mage, and yeah, it's one of her good skins. I gotta give it an 8. I can't find too much to complain about. I would say just needs a few extra details here and there. If it had all these effects and the model was more so designed with the Winter Bliss look, I think that model would have probably bumped this to a 9, but it's a high 8 still. For being as it is priced the way it is, I expected a bit more. But I think I'm in a minority group when I say the Dawnbringer skin is just okay. I would say, personally though, when it comes to the abilities, they're nice, but they just feel a little weak with the coloring effects. All in all, the Q felt more like just a normal Q, really, with an impact crater. The E, it's a cool build-up, but it just looks very and the heal's a heal. The biggest standpoint is her ult, where, again, you have the giant Soraka up here above you, but unless someone's looking at you, you're not going to see it, and it's one of her jumps up ults. So, all in all, though, I think the model is what really makes this look good. The colors and effects feel like a god-tier leap for Soraka's base. All in all, this feels like what a Celestial Soraka would feel like. And yeah, I'll give it a 7 for the model, but I think the abilities need a little bit more to them. They feel a little lacking here and there. but the model look and color is what sells this skin, in my opinion. This is funny. This is really fucked up and funny, because before, where I commented the Q and the E were bland and her alt is bland, kind of just the same jump as always, I think Nightbringer actually has better abilities. But I think the coloring with the model looks a bit goofy. It's a bit too bright compared to the other Nightbringer skins. I feel like if it had some darker shades, it would look a lot better. But again, ability-wise, the impact is great, and there's a symbol that burns in at the end that you can actually see with the dark colors. The heel has a bit of embers to them. The root has, again, a symbol where there's this fiery buildup for an explosion that marks the land and scorches it with ash. And then her ult, the slam of the staff and the arrival of the upper figure feels more powerful than just upper figure leaps into air. Overall, I think the abilities on this are a lot better, but Nightbringer, I feel like the model-wise needs a lot more better effects and coloring with its body and model. It just looks like someone took the color shader and went to red, but didn't darken any colors to it, compared to Dawnbringer. So I'm going to give Nightbringer also a 7. I feel like if Riot took the time and made it just one skin with the effects and decent model shadings and colors, I feel like this would be a higher tier. But for what it's worth, together they're an 8. Separate, they're a 7. This is one of those skins that, besides the effects looking cute and the model looking great, it's the little details, the flowers and bubbles when you heal someone, little croissants in the root of the E, the teapot pouring down her ultimate, and of course the cupcake slamming to heal you with your Q. Again, the patterns and colors I think are well done in this skin. They feel vibrant, they feel cute, and the model looks adorable. The little maid outfit, the croissant staff, everything looks great. The only things that keep this from being a 9 with a lot of Soraka skins are the small details. For example, I think the pale pinkish purple skin is just almost washed out compared to the rest of the outfit. The golden hair and the bright pink dress, I can't actually make out her face that well when she's looking forward compared to her other skins. I think the skin need to be brighter, or it needs the rest to be a little more pastel. I lean towards pastel because I think that'll look better. Overall though, it's a good skin and it gets an 8. When it comes to Spirit Blossom skins, it's usually one of two things. Either you're getting these brighter blues and pinks abilities, or these darker purples. A lot of characters like Cassiopeia, Darius, who have more of a sinister kind of vibe to them, have these purples. I didn't expect Soraka to have these purples, though it seems like with this batch of Spirit Blossoms, all of them had those purples to them, but overall, it looks good with how she's designed. Again, her model has the lighter blues and pinks to them, but the darker purples and blues in her Q and her E just look so good. The movement of the rose petals, but also these dark purple flowers and butterflies. The blossom effects she does have are just great all around. The striking blast and bloom of the Q. The heel feels a bit more vibrant with the coloring, and yes, it's probably just the same as always, but it just feels a lot better. It just has that little details to it that really sell. And the skin, of course, like I said, the outfit looks great, the staff is beautiful, All in all, it's an 8. This skin is okay in my opinion. Now, personally, I think there's parts of this that feel like a letdown. Mainly the heal and the Q. When it comes to the E, the rising statue buildings and what I assume is a Kieran being there spiritually looks great. The ult having a Kieran actually flow around you looks great. However, when it comes to her ult, it's the same usual jump up pose she has done for Star Guardian and such. But when it comes to her other abilities, Q is just a pawn with a blast hitting it, and E just looks like they made it a bit thicker. It's the same heal almost as when you ult, which makes the ult heal around the player feel a little lessened in my opinion. It just felt like they just added more on top of the heal just to make it look specialer, but then they use that same heal effect during the ult with even a bit little more small bits on top of it, and adding does not always improve. I feel like they should have added gold effects to the heal with a W, because a lot of this stuff for her is golden. The petals and water effects plus the gold would have made nice, and it wouldn't really be a problem because you have to turn just one of those rings in the heal golden, and if you reuse it for the ult again, it's going to look a lot better still. All in all, these small details and issues that are here and there, I feel like, are what really make this skin not feel like the price is as worth, in my opinion. It might be a personal issue, but all in all, I give it a 7 at least. The model and the staff, I think, are the best selling points for this skin. The whites, the pinks, the purples, and the blues match so well. It's supposed to be seasonal, and I don't recall which season of fairies is supposed to be, but I do love the colors and looks. The little horn now being that of a beetle is a cute little detail. Her staff being petals put together is just another small little lovely detail. My only problem with the skin and why I can't give it a high ranking is because, well, simply put, her effects we've seen. The pale whiteness for her Q is okay and all, but again, nothing special really. It's just a pale white with butterflies. The butterflies are under healing or thing. The butterflies in her E. It's all cool and all, but it's a lot of these are just the same colors and looks we've seen before, but duller. In comparison, Spirit Blossom is more vibrant purple. The purple in this E feels dulled down. It gives it its own look, but it feels like it's just a duller down look. The biggest issue I have with this skin, though, and the reason why it's going to get a 7 instead of getting an 8, is because why doesn't she ult and get her fairy wings? Those butterfly wings are in her recall. Why don't she has them in there? And you can't say, oh, well, it wouldn't be allowed because other skins. And it's like, no, we've seen her with wings being used in her recalls. It just gives a butterfly on the floor. And also, why butterflies? Her thing is a beetle, after all. And don't say they're fairies because she is the fairy, represented as a beetle with butterfly wings. Overall, I feel like they should have just given her her wings. And yeah, again, the small details will suffice, and the model looks cute. There's just so many details that will piss me off, but it still gets a 7. And there you have it. I hope you all enjoyed. Comment down below if there is a champion you'd like to see. If there was a skin you think is better in that, tell me down below, which is your favorites and such. Comment, like, and share if you will. And like I said, happy birthday, Coffee. Hope you have a wonderful day today. And yeah, until next time, peace.